Did I tell you my song that goes with that?
No.
I will tell you after. Okay. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Go live. Okay.
Okay, I like to be bossy. It's true. I'm actually a junior high teacher and I hate it. Can you guys come up to the front just while we're getting started? Because it makes us feel like we're doing something. But you guys are all over there and we're talking to ourselves. We feel crazy. Come on over and join us.
Or crazy.
I mean,
Oh my goodness. Okay. So,
should I auction off the wheel?
you better ask Felix first.
Oh, I'll probably give that to you.
Eddie?
And that live art sign? Mickey Mouse is waiting for home. I can't deliver it. We still deliver it. It goes
The live art signs. The live art sign.
I took the original Rumble House off the roof and I sanded them and those we cut out in 45 minutes with the intention of replacing. There was a wall there that we took out and the leftover wood we used to build the structure that the Rumble House letters were on. And I thought that they would last maybe 3 weeks. And they stayed up for 9.5 years. And then last summer, I was like, I gotta take this out. Because every time the wind blew, it went, and I could just see coming in. There's a daycare next door and seeing like the sign painting some like 6-year-old to the floor, legs sticking out like Wizard of Oz. And I took the letters off, carefully filled in all the cracks, painted them, put an extra white layer on them, painted the fronts and the backs, sanded them, and then covered them in glow paint. So the Rumble House letter, and they also, I don't know if you know this, rearranged anagram style. The only phrase that the Rumble House letters will spell without using all the letters is bumhole user.
Which Felix loves because we have Rumble House on letters on our fridge. He did that immediately and giggled.
He's like, everyone's got a bum. So, but I thought, well, people will want these. Like, this is a thing that people, you look at the M from the Rumble House sign as a memento, especially if your name started with M or something. And I put up an offer saying, does anybody want these letters? And I got like 12 people. I'll take the R and the H, but I can't have them all. I'm like, I'm not giving the letters away.
Okay, I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. Thank you guys so much.
Then only spell old oozer.
We are live to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
They would well onto your parents' fence if you wanted like some nostalgia, like. Dad comes home and does the back alley, but it said bumhole user on the back of his house for 2 years.
The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge the land we gather on Mohkinstsis as the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, and the Anskapi Piikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of 37 lands, the Tsuut'ina, the Itapi, which includes Bears, Pachuniki, and Goodstoney. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Indian. We're so grateful that everyone was able to make it down, and very grateful for those of you who can't make it down, but you're online. We're very grateful.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I love the delicacy in which you deliver that land acknowledgement. And I teach in Cochrane with Neath. I forget the name of the new name for what was previously Morley, but I teach Stoney kids and Chiniki kids. Yeah. And I was saying this earlier. We sometimes don't eat well on Wednesdays because it's like a 20-hour day for us. And we stopped at A&W, and the way the lady said tomato, we can't do it because we can't do it. Right accent. But the way she said, she sang the word tomato. I thought I've never thought of a tomato being so delicious as the way this lovely lady's accent made tomato. Filipino accent, right?
Yeah, she's so.
And the way the kids say the word chiniki is like breaking glass, and it's just so beautiful. And every time you read it, I hear that tinkle of breaking glass, but also the delight of Neath. No, Myth. I remember it sounded like Christmas.
Oh,
And new words for me are really hard. So if your name's Bob, I can probably remember your name. But I have like a learning disability with phonetics. So I had a principal whose name was Cusinelli, and I worked for her for 6 months, and I couldn't remember her name, even with her name tag on. And so what I would do is I took the Little House on the Prairie, and I remember there was the comedian character named Nellie, and I just imagined she was my cousin. So I have mnemonics for all kinds. And I think I need to remember the proper name for where my Stony kids live, but I love when the Chiniki kids say that word because it just sounds like tinkling, like if you break a Christmas ornament. That's how it sounds. I think
That's a really beautiful analogy too. That's wonderful. Okay, so I was trying to find this one. So first piece of inspiration is Jellyfish by Andrea Gibson. When the astronaut told me she needed more space, I dropped my pants to the floor in the grocery store, hoping I could moon her into staying. Most of us will do anything to try and prove we're enough, to prove our sky is not Hollywood, our stars are not actors, to prove the twinkle in our eye isn't an infection. I can look in almost any direction and say that's the way to go, but I've learned that this is how to stay, skipping moon rocks across our own puddle dive, even when I've been clipped from the mothership. So I can still say, I bet you smell like butterfly, but I bet you dream cocoon. My heart is a runway. I've been staring at the sky since my love took off. Will you be my friend? Will you poem me a porch swing? Will you punch me in the tuft just once? I'm ready to reset my bones, ready to swing set my ribcage, so the next time someone pushes me away, I'll swing right back to that chisel with my marble spine. Go ahead, build me. Go ahead, throw me at the storm like a fisherman's prayer. Do you ever think about God's ear? Wonder if the levee broke a promise? Wonder if the wrecking ball was trying to run its finger soft across the bricks of its head, was just too heavy? Before you become my friend, picnic with my rubble, road trip with everyone I left in the dust, do the laundry from the last time I was loaded. Found my trigger, and we woke up with a sheet pulled above our heads, praying the mortician could make us pretty. None of us are pretty, but are ugly as an alibi, and are gorgeous as a sand collection. My baby sister and 2 harmonicas we keep blowing off for that flute we carve from our wrist. Put your lips here. Tell me there is music in my blood. Then tell me there is more in my light. Hang me chandelier from the last night I believed this life had to hurt so much. I am done kneeling in the church of steepled smokestacks, done stargazing my own train crash. Give me wind sprint. Tell me my fingerprints are the shapes of ripples on a frozen lake. Tell me my coal mine will never collapse on my heart. I'll tell you these poems are my birthmarks, and I came so close to having them removed. I even kept a voice box cutter hidden in my shoe the day her flight took off. But the runway, it's made of marble, made of gush, made of windmill, made of salt, and there is a sea of hope chests in every word I speak, praying to be opened by the night with its belly full of yield. Pull the shield from my wingspan. Teach me why the candle wax says thank you to the flame. Tell me how your mother says your name, like an orchard going blue. A doctor once told me I feel too much. I said, so does God. That's why you can see the Grand Canyon from the moon. We are a telescope of riverbed. We are empty lockets melting into gold. We are hearts breaking bread. Fold me in the napkin poem. Pull the tinsel from my hair. From all of the past I could not let go. My gills are adjusting to the air. The story husk peeling from my bones. My bones know the song of our tears, dripping from the faucet, ticking like a metronome. I know there is better music, even in this cabin full of fever. Tonight I'm catching nothing but the lightning bug. My body is a mason jar, transparent as a jellyfish. I wish for a heart you can see straight through, for a voice that glows in the dark, and for a few really good friends to say, that's the way to go. That's by Andrea Gibson. That's one of my favorite poems by them.
I kept thinking you wrote that.
I was, I think, very inspired by Andrea Gibson. So that's the first piece of inspiration. I'll keep it open because there's like a gajillion beautiful lines in there.
It's not a number.
Gajillion is.
No, it's not. Is it?
That's greedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, look at this. There's a cat.
I want you to read Stephen Hawking though.
I will. That's a lot. Next one.
Good.
There's a cat holding up an elephant piano, the moon, a train, a tree, and it says, "You make me feel younger. You make me feel brave. You make me feel something these words can't contain." That's the second piece of inspiration.
Very nice.
And
Have you guys ever heard the song "The Cat Came Back"?
yes,
You met my son Felix. His biological grandfather played the spoons on that. Friends with Fred Penner, and he and Fred were in a band in high school at Kelvin High School in Winnipeg. And there was this kid a couple of grades younger that used to always want to jam with him. Like, get out, you're off key. Guess who it was? Off key from Winnipeg. A bit flat. Neil Young. He's like the annoying off key kid that wanted to be in their band. So
poor Neil.
poor everybody else.
Poor everyone. Okay. So from Stephen Hawking, third piece of inspiration, the expanding universe. If you look at the sky on a clear moonless night, the brightest objects you will see are likely to be the planets Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Interestingly enough, I never noticed, this is dumb, maybe I shouldn't tell people. I never noticed that the planets are brighter than the stars. I always thought there was like big, bright stars, and the planets were harder to see. But we live downtown, and all we see is the moon and the planets. We don't see any stars ever. And so I'm always like, she's impressive. Like, we're driving down the street, oh, cumulus clouds, oh, nimbus clouds. I'm like, no, nobody learned that. Like, what are you doing? And
Have you seen the comet?
Oh no.
no,
There's some
we
people
don't,
showed
we don't
us
see
photos.
stars or comets. We barely see the moon from where we live. But there's some cool light effects outside the window, and all the buildings blink. So it's great. But yeah, she knows all the planets. She knows where they're gonna be. She knows the moon. Well, everybody knows the moon, but she knows all the clouds and everything's like. She knows the kind of trees. Like, I got two kinds of trees. Christmas trees and apple trees. Right? Sometimes the apple trees have apples and sometimes they don't. So
All right. So we are
she'll look
gonna.
at a bird flying by. Maybe she makes this stuff up, you know, like, oh, it's a flying warbler. I'm like, that, you just made that up. Like,
What's a bird? We're
I
gonna
know
make
it's a
art
real
for
word.
2 hours. I love that you're a superhero tonight. That's amazing.
We're gonna make art for 2 hours and then have an auction at 9 o'clock.
or are we?
We're just trying to have an auction at
I really love that you guys came tonight. What number are we on?
596.
Okay.
Jess, can I look at your 2 cards thing? The cards that you usually pull out of?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, yeah. There.
How's the progress?
Good. I finished attaching the pigeon, and now I want to do this 20-pointed star above it, and I'm also going to try to do more of them. I'm not sure. I want to get it all tacked on, and then I might go around with the sewing machine because I'm going to pull the sewing machine out to do the lining too, and like all the details. Yeah. So. Yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah, I bought a lot of ideas that I was teaching, but I didn't really do.
No, it's okay. There's beautiful colors, and I started that class that I was telling you about. So the kids, I showed the colors that were in those sets and stuff, and they're really excited.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess that you don't have to use the picture.
The pattern.
Just use-
But it's nice too, because if you're stuck and you don't know, then you do have something
Yeah.
to go from as well.
No, I was thinking about the dress more or less.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, don't forget to share the link, please. Megan, did you read Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
What was it?
Expanding universe.
Sorry, I got into
And if
painting.
That's okay. I thought it was good because the very first line was, on the clear moonless night, bright objects you're likely to see are the planets Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And that's what we were just talking about,
I
Saturn.
was just in the other thing. So.
And actually, that was what I was trying to find in this book of poems, because Andrew Gibson was the one that wrote the poem, and that was one of the lines was, I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm trying to find that quote. Jellyfish was the closest I came.
Get a bay.
Oh, maybe it's from the poem. Oh, that is
Hey.
so
Hello.
good. Hi, how are you doing?
A lot better than I did last weekend.
Good.
I shouldn't say weekend, last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Why would happen last night?
Well, just about 6:30, as I approached the last turn, well, past the last turnoff into Airdrie.
Yeah.
And traffic ground to an absolute halt, an
Oh.
accident before the next turnoff.
Yeah.
So they cleared up, and I started down the highway. And by this time it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I go by the exit to Cross Iron Mills.
And it's still
Dead stop.
no.
Another accident.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I think the only time I've ever bummed out about getting stuck like that, because if you're like, for me, I'm in the car with Jess, right? So I don't care if we're stuck, we're going. But we drove to Los Angeles and back. And then on the way back into Calgary, we got stuck in traffic. Just kind of, if I turned off to go to Cochrane, we could have taken the 1A in, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll just drive by my school and see what that looks like. And I decided not to go by my school and stayed on the highway, the 16. And I remember like we were stuck for probably 4 hours, but it was also, we'd been in the car for 6 days and it was just time to go home.
You remember last year when they had that freezing rainstorm around the whole area?
Yeah.
I was coming in from Vancouver, and just as I passed Lake Louise, suddenly the ground was
This is
absolute
Sunday?
ice.
Oh no.
Yes. So I slowed down, and so did everybody else. But one car lost control, hit a semi, and that very first overpass for animals became a parking lot. The accident occurred inside.
Oh no.
So I parked my vehicle, pulled my blanket out of the back seat, and went to sleep. 12 hours later, somebody came by with, we got the traffic going.
That's funny.
Audio, Yeti. Testing Yeti out. I wonder if that's loud. Okay, I think we're good. Can anybody talk to me? Do I have any? Oh, I gotta share a link. Invite the links. There we go. Okay. Okay, can anybody confirm the sound is good again? And secondly, I just clicked the link here. It looks like StreamYard. If you want to click that link, you can actually join us if you like. You can click into that. Rumba House says StreamYard. .com, and that's like a weird like QUIK Wi-Fi BXBW. If you click on that, it'll give you an option to join us on the link. Not to say you have to, but you can if you want to. Can anybody tell me if you can hear my voice now? It's a rock opera. Ah. Come on.
It's having fun, isn't it?
Always.
Easily entertained.
Rich, listen.
What is it?
Because tonight, Saturn is on his knees, proposing with all of his 10,000 rings that whatever song we've been singing, we sing even more. The world needs us right now more than it ever has before. Isn't that a nice line?
Yeah.
Saturn is on his knees, proposing with all his 10,000 rings
Right.
that whatever song.
How many rings does he have?
I will look. Oh, that's
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Oh, I hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
8 main rings.
You don't believe the pictures you're seeing?
But some of their moons are part of the rings too, so it's like, you know,
Right.
you know what I mean.
Scientists disagree whether there's 8 or 10 main rings,
Yeah,
but they estimate there's over 2,000 minor rings.
I love that.
Every time you get a big object that goes through there, it creates a ring.
Oh, that's they've been sliced.
Yeah.
Sliced and diced.
There's no been a slice. You've been a slice Rich.
I think somebody is being our comedian today.
I'm learning from you.
From me?
Yeah, you.
Don't do that. I'm one of the world's worst jokers.
Tell me your worst joke.
I couldn't do that in this company.
Okay. Can I tell you my worst joke? But I love it. Yeah, I think everybody's heard it, maybe not you. If you've heard it, I apologize. Are you ready?
Okay.
Because the punchline always comes first. What's the worst thing about time traveling jokes?
Okay.
Because the punchline always comes first.
Okay. Now I follow it. You see, with me, time travel jokes is rather serious matter. I'm working on a trilogy of time travel
Yeah?
books.
Hi.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Pink one?
No, you're not gonna guess. The one in the water, yes. But
Or white?
it's not, it has many different colors.
I had an epiphany about time travel a few years ago. When I was thinking about the chance, now you know how many rings there are on Saturn. So I would assume you'd probably have an idea of the chances of being born. You ever find that number out?
It's in the billions against you being
Yeah, it
born.
has lots of colors. Trust
So
me.
your chances of becoming
There's
you
many
are very
species of
slim,
water lily.
right?
Okay.
And
They are only.
even if you had the same
Yeah, I
DNA,
understand, but
twins come out
they're
different,
all-
right?
Mm.
Identical twins, even identical twins come out different.
Okay.
So my personal theory is that
We all do, always do.
the amount
Because
of
this is
disruption it
around
would take
everywhere,
to
but
change
what we-
the
what we
future,
know,
if time
what we
travel
know
was
is
possible,
what-
would
what
be
we are in the
minuscule.
environment that we are.
Because if I
So.
ran into your father and bumped into him 10 years before you were born,
No.
it would disrupt the cycle enough that that billion and one chance for that particular sperm and egg to meet. Like if you think of the unlikeliness that we were born, and you apply that to don't disrupt the time,
Space time.
yeah, right. Like
No.
most of those narratives say, as long as you don't kill Hitler,
Okay, that way.
or stop Disneyland from
I
existing,
looked up a lot.
things will be pretty much the same. But I mean, I think there would be a butterfly effect of disrupting time
Of
course.
that would be so intense just based on any child born after that moment you time travel be born
Yeah.
completely different because it'd be a completely different billionth of a chance you would have if you time traveled to before your kids were born, your kids would be different people. Right?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Unless there's some kind of mechanism that defeats free will. You know, if it's all preordained and you have to time travel either way, it's interesting.
Well, you did say something at the beginning that I object to.
Okay.
You saying that twins cannot be identical, really truly identical.
I think twins. Even are you a twin?
No, but I do have some very interesting experience with a pair of twin girls.
All right.
And their two daughters.
And do they have different names?
They had different names.
Do they have different scars?
No.
Wouldn't one have a scar on their knee and the other have a scar on their elbow? Like, there's absolutely within the lifespan changes, right? Like
Yeah, there's
twins, but they start with the same DNA. If they're identical twins, they start with the same DNA.
yes.
If they're fraternal twins, then they're just no more alike than any other brother and sister.
So this one you're not going to believe. Identical twins.
Yeah.
I won't say the exact circumstances, but had an affair with one girl's boyfriend.
Right.
They both got pregnant on the same day.
Yeah.
They both had a daughter on the same day.
Yeah.
There was no detectable DNA difference between them.
Yeah, even if you had the same DNA, you'd be completely different people.
Well, these two girls
Yeah.
were born to a different mother.
Yeah.
But they could pass themselves off quite easily as identical twins.
Wait, they were
In
just
fact, when the one mother died of cancer suddenly, they were raised as identical twins, and
Right.
nobody argued about it.
second generation cousins were considered twins.
Yeah.
But that's like appearance. That's superficial.
This wasn't superficial. The only difference between them genetically,
Because their
and it was
mothers
tested,
would be DNA the same because they were.
Mothers have the same DNA, I believe you, yeah.
and
the
father
fathers
was
were
the same
also
father.
the same father.
I have no problem with
Oh,
believing-
but they'd be made differently because they'd be made in different circumstances.
I think two twins have the same DNA, but they're different people. And
Oh,
that's what I'm saying is that
Oh,
as different as two twins with the same DNA are, that if there was a time shift, that 1 in 80 billion chance, even if there was a chance that you hit that 1 in 80
Yeah.
billion, I don't think my kid would be. If I had twins, right? I have a Felix, okay?
Okay,
If I had twins, I don't, or if I time traveled and managed to have the same sperm hit the same egg, it's just the same egg, that 80 billion chance, right? I don't think after the time travel, Felix would be any more like he is than his twin would be if he was a twin. Because there's that gap, and it grows. Like you couldn't walk up to a twin and say you're not a unique person because their twin is similar but completely unique.
Yeah.
Right.
well, in this particular case, the one thing that the scientists really were amazed at,
What?
any given male has about 1,000 different types of sperm
Right.
because of the DNA splits.
Right.
To get as identical as they were, they had to get the same type of sperm hitting the same type of egg.
Yeah.
And that happened. They gave the odds on it in several billion to 1 against it ever happening.
Right.
that's interesting.
But yeah.
Well, I'm sure things like that. I mean, mathematically, things will always defy the odds. In fact, I was reading a book about Fibonacci, and Turns out one of the ways they catch people cheating on their taxes is when the numbers are too perfect. And by that I mean, if I take 2 dice and I roll them 200 times, it's almost guaranteed that I'll roll the same number 6 times in a row. So when you do the stats on it, if you send in your taxes and let's say a number ended with a 6 and then number ended with a 6 and number ended with a 6 and number ended with a 6, if you're faking your taxes, you'd be like, oh, that looks sketchy, and you would correct it. But in your actual taxes, there are likely to be some weird anomalies that look sketchy. If you're actually doing your taxes properly, there should be some weird patterns arise. And if you're faking your taxes, you avoid those weird patterns. Right?
Everybody thinks that you'll have almost identical
But even then, you got
tax returns if you're on a pension. But
Right.
every
Hello.
Hello.
we're just talking about brush strokes.
That's nice.
How do you get rid of them?
How do you get rid of them?
You like them or you don't like them?
I mean, we love them, but you know,
I
yeah.
like them.
I love them.
I love
Aw.
them. Like, when I go look at like gallery art, it's like you don't see it. I don't know what they're doing.
That would be like a wet brush with the oil paint.
Yeah, that
Oh, the oil.
Very, very thin
thin glazing
layers
yeah.
over layers and building it up, almost like painting a little bit on a pane of glass and going. Am I being like you were talking and now I'm like lecturing? Because if you want, I can shut up. But what you can do is just YouTube Florentine painting art lessons, and you can just watch YouTube videos for techniques that used to cost you $2,000 to do a 2-week class. So look up Florentine art techniques, and I think you'll find what you're looking for.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, keep it here. Let's go.
my favorite technique is the dry brush technique.
Yeah.
You put your base color on, and it's still tacky.
Yeah.
You dry brush over with another color. You get a beautiful. For example, you can make a beautiful grass that way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
totally random, or a weeping willow. I had that picture of the weeping willows with me the other day,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get home today, so I only have a couple of pictures with me. And one of them is named mine.
Look at the self-portrait I'm working on.
It's a bad dog and need to be shot.
I got that dog in me.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, nice. That's cool. Very nice. Lovely. Very cool. Those are beautiful pieces. Those are the original acrylics.
Yes, they are.
That's that's lovely. That size is wonderful.
Oh, that's so sweet.
The hockey playing cartoon character is a lighthouse that was painted by my wife.
Oh, cute.
And if you've been to Vancouver, you've heard of their steam clock.
Yeah, yeah. That's lovely.
Yeah. See that partially visible building there?
Yeah.
I put the balconies on.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Good. Attention to detail.
Yep. Yeah.
Gina's with us.
Gina. Hi, Gina. Gina.
I know, if anything comes closer.
I don't want it. That's a good thing if you don't got it over your shoulder.
Look, I carry these around with me. Do you
Wasn't that
remember?
nice? Yeah.
I didn't expect to get here today, so I didn't really bring anything with me.
One of these paper.
I've got paper. I've got stuff I should be doing, but I'm gonna use this as an excuse to take a little bit of break.
Gotcha.
That's nice.
But next week and the week after, the person I take out to Red Deer on Wednesdays is going on Thursdays.
Nice.
So I'll be able to come down on time and bring some of my stuff and do some work and show you my methods. Everybody has their own methods.
Totally.
Oh no. How does your mouth? Oh.
Hey, Rich.
Yep.
Hey, we're watching a video about how to. We've been watching a lot of
How to Florentine?
Well, maybe you could help me. It was we wanted to paint like Van Eyck, you know?
Yeah.
Van Eyck is a genius, possibly a 3D printer robot. How good he is. Some type of magician.
Yeah. Let me just show me which picture you're looking at, or just
Yeah, here.
describe it.
Well, it's like it's so epic. There's like this knight's armor, and then there's like this. It was like all this epic architecture, and then he had like his own reflection in the armor. Is just bonkers.
Yeah. Type in Van Eyck and projection and see what happens.
Camera obscura.
I don't think it was a camera obscure.
No?
It was the something.
I think so.
But see, it's either
Where you use that little like the like, and you look down into it, and you can trace it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, that's one of the ways he did that, and the rest is all just about you paint it layer over layer over layer over layer, building it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, with and then there's lots of techniques for that. That's like that's the thing. That's like Van Eyck to figure that out was like pure genius.
Right.
But yeah, like when I was I don't want to name drop, but a friend of mine at the early days of Rumble came back from New York and having taken this really exclusive class in New York. And he was gone for a couple of weeks, and it was a couple $1,000s to go and take the class on top of like finding a place to stay in New York and so forth. And I was like, so what did you learn? And he was talking about like how he learned some like warm. You put like if you're painting something warm, you use cool colors in the shadows, and if you're painting something cool, you use warm colors in the shadows. And there's a few like little tips that I thought were like kind of worth, going to New York for. But I also seem to feel like I got a bit of that just by talking to him instead of flying to New York. Not to say I didn't want to go, but that's the kind of class you used to spend $2,000 on to do 2 weeks in some place that you have to go almost around the world to be part of. And now those classes are so readily available just on YouTube that like I think what you're looking for is Florentine painting, and you just YouTube it.
Yeah. I think we're barking up the right tree here.
Yeah. I don't want to diminish in any way either. Like it's still work, right? But
And
I
the
think
fact,
you'll
like,
find
when you do something first. No, I'm sorry. I jumped
no,
in.
but I think you'll find that like the world is pretty like vague about how Van Eyck made such high realistic stuff. And then did you you were at ACAD for a little while, right?
I did a bunch of like they called it like some type of like adult learning.
I remember you're hanging out with kids that were.
I spent a ton of time on that campus. Yeah.
So yeah, like you surveyed, you went and you maybe didn't sign up for the courses, but you took part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say one of the things that maybe I found the most disappointing about art history was learning things like, like a lot of the artists, first of all, do use projectors. And second of all, they don't even paint their own art sometimes. And that's like kind of art history or even like modern art dirty secret.
No,
I don't have a problem with whatever anybody's process is, right? And I don't think they owe the world any kind of definition how they do it.
Just have a flag.
I keep a Etch-a-Sketch on hand because I can draw on an Etch-a-Sketch. And one time I put a painting up and this guy's like, "Did you draw that freehand?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that means, man." But instead of like defending or talking or even acknowledging, I didn't use a projector, but I didn't like the question. I redrew it on my Etch-a-Sketch. And he's like, "You don't need to prove nothing now, man." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't." And so that's just like a weird, I mean, that I can draw on an Etch-a-Sketch doesn't prove anything. It's just like I put my 10,000 hours in, right?
Yeah.
But I think, like, in the end, what matters is the ability to transpose your soul into an object in a way that people can live with. Because you could be the best painter in the world and your ex-girlfriend won't want to hang your paintings. And even just being like slightly obnoxious, like I've noticed my paintings haven't sold well lately. I think being somebody that people don't want to think about is part of what makes or breaks you as an artist, right? Like that if they hate you, they don't want to celebrate your work. So there's so many layers to just being somebody that people can stand having in their homes is as important as how good the art is as important as
that's
what you're making, right? Like I really avoid, and like there's a teacher in my school who's really nice and really smart, and he identified that kids are putting a lot of money into sneakers, and he is so bent on trying to get me to paint sneakers, right? The problem is if I buy the sneakers and I paint the sneakers and I do an original piece on each sneaker, I gotta match the right sneaker to the right shoe, to the right art piece, and also I gotta guess the shoe size, right? Because I've got a 1 in 12 chance of like doing it on the wrong shoe. So, and I don't like commission, so I'm not gonna like have ideas for shoes and put them on the shoes after.
Yeah, that's it. Is people are social media. What's it like a
pariahs?
Yeah, where it happens at hyperlapse, and and then something that you had said, you got to be in your home. I like that verbiage. Instead of like you have to make a brand, it's like no, you have to be, yeah. It's not about this like fast art.
It might be. There might be kind of a thing where you can end up hype to sell your paintings.
Yeah.
But you can do that with anything. You don't have to do that with something as personal as a painting.
Right.
You could do that with Amway soap.
I did do that.
You didn't need to take a risk on your soul with Amway soap either. So if you're putting your soul into something, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
So good.
Nice.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Very good.
How's the day? Just doing some doodles, everybody.
We sometimes get Mind Bluff. You've been in many times, or
No, never.
Okay,
I've
so you
never
have such
been.
courage that we're like, I don't recognize that guy. I don't admit it. Did you come in with everybody?
Came in all
Are they all new? You guys all know what we're doing?
We're all new. We don't
Come
have
on in.
any-
We'll tell you what we're doing.
Oh,
Don't be shy.
they know Tanner and everything?
Yeah, I know Tanner.
Oh,
We know Tanner.
that's good. Yeah. So yeah, so every Wednesday we do this 7 to 9 we make art, and then 9 o'clock we have a live auction. So everybody gets
Oh,
a chance
wow.
to sell their
But
work.
nobody walks in and says hi with that confidence. You
Yeah,
must be like,
I honestly
God,
doubted that
man.
I was like, he
I'm
probably knows
so
us, and I don't know his name.
Did you apologize for being awesome? That's not
I
acceptable.
apologize.
So-
Yeah, I think it's cool what you guys are going on here.
Yeah, and everybody's welcome, and it's like it's free to take part, and so every single Wednesday, and you can bring in pieces that are already like some people have pieces that are already finished and they're bringing stuff
How do
in.
you price them?
Artists set their own bids or minimum bid. So at 9 when we have the live auction, everyone's starting at their own minimum bid, and it's a live auction, and we've been doing it for 12 years, and it's really funny because it's like we always say, set your minimum bid. Half the sale goes to the artist, half the sale
You
goes
know,
just to pay
pieces
rent.
have gone between like $5 and $1,300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you're coming in here to make a living, it's gonna suck balls. Like it's,
I get that.
if you're coming in here, I would pay $40 to come and do this.
Yeah.
And you might walk out with.
So is that you guys charge $40 to come
No.
in?
No, he's
we don't
saying
charge
if you-
anything. If you
it's
sell a
free.
piece, we keep half to keep the gallery open. Jess and I work here for free. I've sold 2,700 paintings. to
And
keep
we
the
put
gallery
all of
open.
our sales in.
Everything we
Yeah.
put in is like, so we buy Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner. We buy all our own supply. Like if I actually we calculated it this way, sorry.
No, I love it.
I've spent a Volkswagen's worth of money on the art supplies.
Wow.
If we counted out the hours we put in, plus the revenue we haven't taken out, and plus the supplies we put in, it works out to 2 Camaro and 2 Volkswagens.
Jesus, man.
And we're doing it for 9 more weeks. So
Okay.
We've been doing it for 12 years, and this is the last.
So is this the location? You've been doing it out of this location for 12 years?
10
This
years?
location for 10 years. It's our second 10-year lease is up
Second 5 years.
in December.
Yeah.
And we used to be, if you see right there, we used to be on 14th Street. This
Oh,
sign
okay.
here.
We were Gorilla House. That
Oh,
yeah.
what?
So we were on 14th Street and 15th Ave
And there's
before.
live music there too.
The-
Yeah.
There was it was
Yeah.
There
yeah.
was an all ages
Yeah.
club there before we went in.
Okay.
And and then Gorilla House was a lot like this, but it used to be like, and like now since we're closing down in 9 weeks, like it's just we're slowly kind of decoupling and it's quieter.
Decoupling is the theme.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of saying goodbye, but
Yeah.
but we still have 9 weeks of doing this, and then it was like more like we would love if we needed to, we'd love to pay the $40 to do something like this. So we just like it's
Yeah,
like a
if
nice
you're losing less than $40,
Yeah. to get
seems
back to
worth
that.
worth my while.
That's
And then,
amazing.
but the truth is, you walk out with at least to buy a pack of smokes or you know. And it's not all these pieces up right now. I borrowed back from Dr. John. So these are pieces I sold.
Oh,
I'd
see
say-
all
yeah.
of these.
All
Yeah, I
the ones
borrowed
on the
them back
walls are
from Dr. John.
Wow.
And my friends asked, like, "Oh, what did that piece go for?" I'm like, "Oh, less than a couch, but more than a table, or more than a chair, and less than a."
It's very vague, you know. I've had some cheap tables and some expensive tables in my life.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
but
very
really,
cool.
it's like everyone ends up finding the place that they like setting the opening bid because we just want everyone to feel like respected. That's all. Like
Right,
that you're selling it at your opening bid that you feel good about. So
yeah.
Wow.
that's
Okay.
all. Yeah.
And
Very
then
cool.
there's times when people are struggling. We're like, if this piece sells, then we're going to give 100% of the sale. And there's other people that are like, they donate 100% of their sales, like Jess and I do.
Wow.
But really,
And is
like,
it and you guys said you can bring in pieces. It's not like just you have to do them here.
Yeah. So before COVID, we did everything together, and then it was a little bit more too because we were getting to know everyone. That it was like
it's
we-
because of the city.
that. Yeah.
So
So
technically, if I'm bringing in pieces and I don't know you made them,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to handle it like a pawn shop.
Oh.
Now, when I explain myself at Gorilla House, they're like, this might be a pawn shop, it might be an art gallery, but we don't have that category. Now, if I fell under pawn shop, they wanted me to have this ledger where I took 2 pieces of ID
the
and
social
your social
insurance.
insurance number and possibly
We're
a
not
birth
that
certificate.
people.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I don't think you know my clients.
Yeah. We are not those
A lot of
people.
us don't have social insurance.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Some of us can't be on camera because, they gotta,
Yeah, no, I feel that. That's
So-
unreal.
So now, since we're online and in person, people, like over COVID, people just brought stuff in that was already finished, and then we do kind of like a little bit more like openness, like and like glass and photography. Then it like opens it up.
Well, it's
a little bit
hard to
too.
do glass like in this time frame. Like, I
100%.
imagine, you know
And
what I mean?
also
Like,
with like not great, yeah, like
and like
Like,
long
exactly.
frame, like lots of different artworks take a lot of different
Totally,
time frames. So yeah,
There
I
was
get what you're saying.
there was someone at the book court doing.
someone did like welding
There was
at
welders
Gorilla
at Gorilla
House.
House.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There's this one guy that came with a hammer and did this leather.
No
like-
way.
And it was like
Carving.
having a woodpecker in your brain.
Oh no, it
For
just
everyone here the whole
bop,
night.
bop,
Yeah,
bop,
yeah.
bop.
Non-stop, yeah. That
But
was-
I mean, it was probably cool at the end.
it was,
It
yeah.
wasn't- Yeah, very cool.
I can't swear online. It was
Hey,
so
art is a
awesome.
nightmare sometimes, man.
Those stone sculptures you guys have too. That gorilla.
Okay, I'm gonna check out what we got going on here.
What are you
guys.
talking
We'll be
about,
Let
around
us
here.
know if you have any questions.
Although you have that's that homie made those stone faces all the time. That was wild.
What
Oh,
are
yeah.
you talking about, Zach?
Oh, never mind.
Look,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I took it
yeah.
off. I took it off today.
Oh my god, I love
You
that.
can have it, but I'm not putting it in the mail.
Okay.
Here we go. Look at where's the other camera?
Is it too
Oh.
much? Can
we
I
go.
have someone come and get it for me?
Maybe.
Ooh. If you don't want it, I mean, if it's
No, I love it. You know, this gentleman passed away. Hey.
no.
Yeah, he was. We lose 4 people a year. Last week we lost 2 people. Jess's uncle, and I don't know if you knew Enrique, but he died too, and then came back to life. That was like stressful.
there was an online chaos moment where someone posted that he died, and then like 1,000 people were like, Enriquito! And then it was horrible. And then he had to do this like videos like, I'm okay. And I was like, what happened? Art is stressful.
Oh my god.
Was that an art piece? Because it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
I
That's a
think
real
what you call that is there's a truth to that, actually. Leave your phone open and your friends are being funny.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh yeah, he's phone hacked, I think. No.
Oh.
Like his friend just messed around?
I would
That's
hope,
not funny at
I'm
all.
hoping that's the
Not
truth.
great.
That's like the kids I teach might even think to do that, not adults.
Well, or do you remember, was that on his page or was this a page like his
It was on his page and it was like
He must have left his password open.
yeah. Because it was from someone else. But it was
I worked with a teacher who had a hard time setting up his password. So he brought another teacher in to set up his password, and they were whispering back and forth. And the kids overheard them whispering when he put the password in. So when he was out of the room, the kids went and
change his password.
no,
Oh.
they got into his email and started emailing pervy things to people.
No.
And yeah, so he was like, I think they said something. I don't know if they said they would have known who the superintendent was, but I think it was something about stuff went to the superintendent. And so he didn't get in trouble, but it was super embarrassing because it looked like he was writing some super sketchy stuff out. And then they fixed it like 3 or 4 times, and he couldn't figure out how they kept cracking the code. But it was just him and the other teacher were too loud, like they were whispering when they put the code in, or maybe his lips move when he types. I don't know. I had my overhead projector on one time, and I typed in my password, and I glanced up and realized that the dots that cover my password were flicking on a second late. So like I'd hit B. B would come up and then it would switch to a dot. And the only reason I knew this happened, Zach, was I was watching the lips of one of these kids lip read out my my password, and right at the last letter, I glanced up and saw that they were momentarily, just for 1 second, showing up. And so then I walked over. Kids do this funny. There's 2 things that kids do that are super funny. One is they'll have a computer open, and as you walk up to them, they'll like panically start slamming buttons. And then you know that they were misbehaving because
You know.
the buttons they slam will leave them with an empty Google page. And one day I'll say, dude, I've been teaching you for 2 years and you're still on the empty Google page. I'm like, you're the worst criminal ever. And if you want to do this, what you do is you hit toggle and have two things open. So you just have to hit the tab button. It's going to go back and forth. And they're like, why would you teach me that? I'm like, because
You need to
it's
get better at this.
it's embarrassing catching you so often.
It's embarrassing.
That's the second sketchy teacher story I told tonight.
You're doing good. Yeah. It's like good teacher moves.
Well, and I have to all day because I teach art. And
Yeah.
you know what? When the kid, I said this last week, when the kids experimented with drugs, they're not going to do it before their math final, right? So they come into my art room and they're like, dude, I need a bag of chips. I'm like, maybe you could be less obvious. And I sing to them, I'm like, you're so baked, I can't teach you. I'm not sure what we're going to do. And they're like, what, Mr. Taylor? I'm like, no, it's just a song I like. Go sober up.
Take a walk.
He said I'm on drugs. I'm like, you are on drugs. That doesn't matter.
Is there a lot of stoners? Is there still weed a thing?
Our whole junior high hallway the other day, the poor
Zach,
science
here's what I'm
teacher
gonna tell you,
was
okay?
like, eyes
It's like-
red.
It's like when we normalize pot smoking for adults, they now think it's like vitamins. And they can't buy the drugs legally, so they get them from the sketchiest people in the world. And I know who those people are because I'll always say things like that. You know what? There's some really low people, but right near the bottom are people that'll sell drugs to kids. And they all get the really crappy look on their face, like, oh, I can't believe you said that about me. I'm like, don't be so obvious. But the problem is if they can't buy it legally, they're getting pot from the people that put fentanyl in their pot. And we've been here for 10 years. We've lost 4 people a year. We've lost 50 people, about 10 to cancer and 30 to overdoses and about 10 to old age, right? So I'm not judging or feeling superior. I'm just sick of watching the artist die.
Yeah, because I was under the impression, like once adults could get it, it's kind of like beers, and I wasn't drinking beers in high school,
Yeah, you were.
Well, not in
Not in school.
Yeah.
But down the alley, there was a guy that
Ways at school because that was edgier. So my question really was do you find more designer drugs, more prescription stuff? What
the kids are smoking pot, but it's not the same pot, and it's that's what scares me. Steve Earle stopped his concert to talk about how his son, who's dead, just probably had a bit too much of a coke problem, and I'm not diminishing that, but his son put some coke in his nose and died in
Got up
the
and
club.
fell down. Yeah.
Got up and didn't get up again. So some of these things are totally avoidable.
Yeah.
So culturally, as an artist, everybody thinks you're supposed to die when you're 27. You get to 28, and you're like, oh, I got to start flossing my teeth, and I wasn't planning for the future.
You said something really poignant. You said it's always the artists and the people with big imaginations that end up.
Yeah.
That's really a hard thing because it's the people who have a hard time with reality that end up going away.
Taking breaks from it, yeah. So I know I sound square when I say it, but I've watched enough bodies go there that I feel like I have a right to complain.
And like you said, it's not judgmental. It's just
No judgment.
It's like wishing to change it to keeping artists alive as long as possible.
You're not implying that artists
It's
are all drugs.
weird, but I watched an interview with
We're implying the artists that we've known that died in the last
Or because of drugs.
10 years over drugs is more than we need. And I
Yeah.
think more artists die of drugs. Well, musicians and artists, I think there's more of us dying of drugs than accountants.
Yeah.
But no, I certainly wouldn't imply that all artists are drug addicts. That would be
Definitely.
not appropriate.
Or what you wanted to say.
Or are we trying to say all teenagers are drug addicts? But Zach, to answer your question, are you still there?
Yeah.
I would say way more kids in rehab now than there was when I was a kid. Detoxing was like,
Make marijuana illegal again.
what? I don't think it should be illegal, but I think that there's okay, I'll tell you something else. Like, most educated adults will tell you, and they'll tell you this because they heard it and they like how it sounded, that a glass of wine a day might be good for you. And that's one of those things that sounds like it would be good if it was true.
Fine.
If it was good for you, it wouldn't stop the oxygen from reaching your brain enough that you have such a nice time. I mean, the reason you do it is fun. The reason it's fun is because it's not good for you. But I'm not here to preach.
You know how many people I have seen who basically say, hey, if I want to take a chance of killing myself, I got the right to do that.
Yeah, but you know what I'd try and do is talk them into taking a big loan from a mafia shark and go to Vegas for 2 weeks and just see if things get better. You know, like pick something that needs to make a change. Send your body to Gaza and volunteer to make a difference. You know, like if it's true that life's not worth living, take that last breath and do something important. And as you found yourself doing something important, you would find a reason to live. Right? Like, my kids sometimes where I teach, they want to join the army because they play a lot of video games. And I remember the first time it happened, I looked at this kid. He was the nicest kid. I was new to the school. I didn't even teach him, but he had a desk outside my classroom, and I'd see him all the time. And I said, "What are you doing after high school?" He's like, "Oh, I'm joining the army." I'm like, "Oh no, man! Like, we need an army, but not you. Like,
There's like,
you're such a great kid. Why don't you become a teacher or something?" And he's like, "I already enlisted." And I was like, "Well, I guess that's fair." And I realized that it was arrogant to me to have, you know, a safe country to live in for me, and not be grateful that there are kids that are going to join the army and make that sacrifice. But like I said, I guess there isn't much difference between somebody deciding that they're ready to check out and some sweet kid that wants to do his part. Like, it's all a matter of luck. Okay, I'm preaching now, and I didn't mean to. You shouldn't ask such provocative questions.
I think we just like chatting.
There's absolutely no difference between being an artist talking and being a clergy talking. Because you believe in your art, so you talk as if it's a religion rather than a pastime.
For me, I would say that my art is in some ways like a religion to me. It's where my soul takes its biggest risks. It's where I feel closest to God. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying that to me, when I feel most connected to God, I'm running or painting. Oftentimes when I'm painting, I watch my hands and I don't know who's driving this bus. And I think to myself, that's pretty magic. And maybe it's more appropriate to believe in a God than magic. But I'm often mystified that my hands seem to be much more in control than I am. And I'm just looking and going, hey, that's pretty good. Who did that? And it was my hand.
Some of my best pieces were accidental.
Yeah. Or ineffable.
Maybe.
You ever get the cringe? Do you ever get some of the like, oh, I didn't paint that. Ooh,
No.
that happens to me a lot.
When I look at something that I would get the cringe, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I don't have to make a new canvas.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I'm not beholden. I'm not beholden to anybody. And if I ever get in a situation where I have a precious canvas, then I know I'm in a struggle with it. But then I'm just like, well, here's an opportunity to grow. And right now, I have not grown. There's room to grow in this piece. But I don't have a destination when I'm painting, Zach. You know, I paint because I paint, and then when I sell it, it's I don't have to stick it under my couch.
Yeah.
But for me, the Rumble House was just a way to keep moving the work.
Yeah.
And I do sort of wonder. Well, I guess we have the new plan for. I'm also going to have a couple hundred paintings to find homes for, but I think I'll start installing them on fences and things. Some park shows, or someone just like me might do the same thing, and you won't know the difference between whether it's my show or somebody that was listening. I told my kids about my my funeral plans because they asked. They're like, "Mr. Chair, what kind of funeral do you want?" I'm like, "Well, it's not going to be open casket." Because instead of buying a box, I'm just going to go in the Ken and Askus and cover myself with peanut butter. Like when I'm old and it's time
What
to
did
go.
they think of that?
They were making jokes about not wanting to waste money on a casket. So
They're like, they must not pay teachers enough.
yeah, and then the other thing is like my actual ceremony is I want everybody to show up. I'm going to crank under pressure as loud as we can. I won't be there. You will.
I will do that.
And then
Your
everybody
house?
goes home and breaks a window on the way. They're like, Mr. T, why would you want somebody to break a window? I'm like, because I spent my whole life doing the best job I can. And the last thing I want is one day of chaos.
They like that?
Yeah, they loved it. They're like, you're going to pay for that. I'm like, no, actually, I totally won't because
I will be
the time
gone.
will be just right. Or I think they said, Mr. Taylor, what would you do if somebody found out that you want windows broken when you die? I'm like, sue me. Yeah.
I got people that have no problem suing somebody.
Have you seen the mushroom pajamas?
I wish I knew what that meant. So,
It's like post-life mushroom pajamas you hop into and you go lay down in the woods and then
Oh.
boom, no burial, you just become protein.
Oh.
Yeah.
why do I think we've talked about this before?
Hopefully we have. I love them. I want to make one.
Did you say hopefully we have?
Yeah.
Yeah, peanut butter and mushroom pajamas. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah, that's the answer.
You know where I came up with that theory?
Where?
I was teaching grade 7 science and I referenced The Lion King. And I was like, like in The Lion King,
Circle of life.
we eat the antelope and then our bodies become the grass and the antelope eat us. And it's like, except when we put ourselves in boxes and fill ourselves with formaldehyde, do virtually everything we can to make sure we don't get back to the earth.
Yeah.
Poison our bodies so that it can't get back to the earth. That's a little weird. But, I mean, it's not like I have them take my brains out with coat hangers. I do wonder what I'm talking about sometimes, if you're wondering too.
I've been on a reincarnation tip.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm into it.
What do you think you did wrong?
He has a lovely life.
Yeah, signing up for this
That was not nice of me, and I take it all back. I was just
Yeah.
I do have a forked tongue, and I keep it in all day, and that was just like it just floating in the air in front of me, and I couldn't help but swing.
Yeah, I've been scared a lot though. I've been scared too much.
Jess and I were working some stuff out, and I was getting pretty grumpy. And we don't fight, but we like we're both complex people, and it's a lot of work being either one of us and being together. As much as we love each other, it's like it's work, right?
Mhm.
And I was pushing this idea that I was trying to understand, and I was having this. At the same time that I was having this panic attack, like I hope I'm not pushing too hard to resolve this idea. Not a thing, but an idea that I was trying to understand. And then I started all week hearing like her voice as an old lady just kind of calling out to me when I was busy. And so I'm walking through the hallway, and I pass the garbage can, and I hear her say Rich, and I'm at school. I'm like, is that Jess? And I look behind me, and there's nobody there. And then I get to the door, and she's like, Rich. And I'm like, Jess is calling me. And I look behind me, she wasn't there. And it happened like 12 times this week. And then we're sort of getting to the crutch of this understanding that was like difficult. And I remember thinking, I've been hearing this ghost call my name all week, and just to be safe, I'm going to slow down a bit. And in that slowing down, we had the space to sort of figure out what she was saying and what I was saying were the same words, but we use those words so differently that I kind of thought she was telling me something really awful. It was actually pretty sweet. And it took a ghost to shape me.
Yeah, so it was like if it was like a past life Jessica saying like,
or like Interstellar, where she's like pushing books out of the wall from the other side. And I know that sounds hokey, but I was like 100% like wigged out that was happening. And I'm not saying you're wrong, man. Like I don't have words for it, but I know it happened. And then immediately, you try and talk yourself into thinking it didn't happen. As fast as it happens, you're like, I'm not supposed to remember this, or I'm going to go crazy. You ever had a lucid dream?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I had one, and during my lucid dream, I realized I was having a lucid dream and thought, I should make better use of this lucid dream. And then I started to wonder if I was just dreaming about having a lucid dream, how would that be different than having a lucid dream? And then when I realized I was having a lucid dream and I wasn't using my time well enough, I decided to think, like, what do I really want to do? So I flew up to the top of the sky. You know that thing when you wake up in a panic and it's like you land in your body and there's like a whoosh noise?
Yeah.
Really abrupt, and it almost feels like you're floating 2 feet above your bed. And I'm sitting about not doing drugs. This is the truth. In my dream, I thought to myself, well, since I'm in a lucid dream, I should make better use of this. I flew right up into the sky, and I grabbed the zipper, and I unzipped the sky, and I opened up the curtain to peek through, and I remember thinking, I'm not supposed to peek through this curtain. And I stuck my head through, and it was like I got sucked through the universe and thrown back into my bed super hard. I was like, I shouldn't have looked behind me. And then I never had another lucid dream again, because I was not worthy.
No, shit, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice.
I wish you knew how unstable I was, because I practice being stable. Not lucid. I guess
lucid is, yeah.
I practice being in the reality personally.
Yeah. I had one like recently, really recently. I'm panicking. I'm terrified. It was like one of those like, okay, wake up, trying to wake myself up. And then I went, wait a minute. If I'm trying to wake myself out of a dream, that means I'm dreaming. Maybe it will chill and do some dreamy stuff.
What did you do?
It's vague. My memory's vague, but I remember being very relaxed after, and it was. I could just turn the panic off when I realized, like, oh wait.
Yeah, that's where I think as a young man, I watched movies and thought I'd be like the kind of guy who goes to Mexico and tries to alien at some point.
Thank you, Jess.
And then I realized I'd probably be the last person that should do that. And I was sort of working out that if I had a really bad idea, who's in place to stop me from enacting my bad ideas? Like, they needed to be a certain weight and a certain speed to stop me from hacking my arm off if I suddenly decided I didn't want it.
Make the coat. Yeah. And you quit making up. I never quit.
That's the problem.
Yes, we will.
I always make a lot more
Thanks,
than
bud.
I
Yes,
need.
yeah. Thank you. Good luck. I hope you all sell.
Did you bring anything?
I brought a couple of things with me, but
Did
it
you?
was stuff I was working with today while I was out in Redwood.
Nancy?
Well, I'll show you the two pictures. One was painted by me and one by my wife.
Oh, here. I just unplugged your phone and mine went into like power save mode. So.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Nice.
Yes.
Time we got there.
Just under an hour.
There is a white character, and they're lights. That's
think
those
just
three. You can
without
look it up.
divulging
We got hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was anything personal that is. I was chatting with
Is that this one by you?
That's funny.
Carla about what a bliss it was to stay up all night figuring each other out. And she said her husband and she have been
And
just
that's by my wife.
Like going.
reconnecting
My late wife.
because
What is this, a lighthouse?
That is a lighthouse, a Syrian lighthouse.
her last
They come in pairs. There's a
what do you
white
call
one
it?
of this.
Child
There's a
had
white and a
that was big empty nested.
a whale.
Oh yeah.
I visited those personally. My son got married
That's
to
really
a
nice.
Korean woman in the town.
Yeah.
That's one of the many
Zach, what should
parties.
they paint next?
Thank you for that. That was-
Skinny dog.
What?
Skinny dog.
A skinny dog or the skinny dog?
Is there a the skinny dog?
I bet there is. Type it into Google and see what happens.
Whoa.
Did that just happen? Is there a song that goes with it too?
That's my animated. That's my.
Yeah,
That's my Dragon Ball Z sound when I'm on a mission.
What's your favorite? What's your first meme, Zach?
Like the first meme I ever witnessed, or my go-to.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh, brother. Ooh, what's that, brother? Ooh, that's what I want right now.
The first one I ever saw was
Everyone laughed in the front.
Mr. T Ate My Balls, which was super old, and then Flat Eric is the first one that resonated with me.
Oh, hi.
And those were painted in about 4 inches, 3 inches. It's a 4-inch size.
Flat Eric. Yeah, what's that?
Look it up. It'll make you so happy. It'll make you so happy. Flat Eric. Oh, also, when I saw Flat Eric, I didn't know what I was looking at. I just thought it was like a short video. And then it wasn't until the Techno Viking that I realized that this was a thing, that people were making short videos and they had names.
Oh. Yeah, like are memes going to be a college course, like history of memes?
Will they last? Who knows? With AI?
Yeah.
Why would they?
It's psychic too. Who cares after that?
What's coming next? Nobody knows. Skinny dog, I like this idea. I don't want to be. I want to be like, oh, my skinny dog's not as good as yours.
Oh. What
I'm
about
gonna take the Van Eyck skinny dog.
oh, cool. I was looking up some skinny dog paintings.
Thank
Is
you.
that a thing? What are we talking about?
You went
Oh, I don't know. I just
you live in BC.
I want to get a greyhound tattoo. I'm kind of a skinny dog.
Okay.
I'm calling it more of a portrait, but then we started looking at how old art got archived, and the artists didn't name their pieces, but they were kind of like just cataloged by someone who was creating this work.
Yeah.
So it's like, boy with apple, like that. It's like just what it is, So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to paint the title backwards, and so I just wanted "Skinny Dog" to be the title, and now I'm kind of have to fulfill that.
Right.
Yeah. How about let's just double check.
Yeah. It's like like writing the punch. It's like this time traveler's punchline.
Hey, Jess.
I want to be.
Jessica.
He's about to get back.
Jesse.
What's that?
I can tell from your voice you need help. What's the question?
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't hear
that's
the question. I didn't hear what it was, but I could tell from your tone.
I'm saying just to ask Rich, and it's not like an
What's the
online
question?
thing. It's like
Oh,
a nice It's a nice question. It's-
Answer's yes.
okay, there you go.
I
Yeah,
will take it like
sure.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how to explain that. I hope I can come off.
Just if it's not my bicycle, you can have it.
It's not.
Yeah, it's all
no,
good.
it's not you giving anything. It's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
I'm gonna explain you. The elder guy that shows here, the one with the bike, you know?
Darcy.
Yes.
Darcy's my age, you asshole. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Not now.
I love you so much.
No,
He is my age.
Really?
Well, yeah. I know. I hold up well, don't I?
Much better.
Darcy's a couple years older than me, and he was a legend when we were
Yeah,
in school.
I know. I talked with him about that. So I talked last week with him. I will have to move soon, and I start to get lighter, and I have some clothes that I talked with him.
Yeah.
He can choose.
Oh, I think I saw him going through jeans.
What?
Did you bring him jeans?
No, I have not give it to him yet. So I talked with him last week to make here this week, but he haven't show up.
Yeah.
And I told him last week if he doesn't show up, I'm gonna talk with you guys. Maybe he can leave that back here and do his name. And when he's gonna show up, he can pick it up.
Yeah.
It's all good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, you can take that painting down now if it works for you better.
Okay, can I look
Yeah.
for a tool?
Yeah, but when you go into that cabinet, go, nobody's allowed in here.
Thank you.
Okay. Nobody.
Nice.
Gonna go back to the car.
I don't want him in here.
Glasses.
I think I'm sure I'm not gonna finish this today. I'm gonna probably finish next time.
And next week, you'll probably be extra changing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, yeah, of course. Here, let us see. Because now we're kind of on the cleaning up. Oh.
Where's?
Is that okay? Yeah, we used to have so much more, but we're trying to get rid of, give a bunch of stuff away. That's perfect. Oh, that's.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna paint, and it's manipulative.
Rich, how can you paint so fast?
Practice.
I think I'm too picky.
I have no pickiness. I paint because I love moving the brush,
Yeah.
and I don't care how it turns out.
Really?
Yeah, not even a little.
Not even a little?
Well, there were nights when I didn't like it when I was done,
Yeah.
and then I often tend to like it the next day. So,
Okay.
actually, since we decided to close down last year,
Yeah.
I am 100% enjoying my paintings way more because
Yeah.
I've stopped worrying about I gotta make rent, and so there were times when I try and be like, oh, I have to make rent, so maybe I need to paint something people like, and I stopped caring about that. Well, I tried not to care about that in the first place, but I've gotten better at not caring about that in the last year since we've decided to close,
Yeah.
and more so around 4 months ago, Jess and I sort of took what we have saved in the world and calculated that even if we stop making money right now,
Yeah.
we could probably pay off the rent between now and the end of the gallery. And so that took pressure off because it's we used to have to make $2,500 a month, or it was going to cost us too much to stay open. And when we decided to close, we didn't need to make $2,500 a month anymore. We can spend the next 5 years paying down our debts, but now it's I'm really enjoying what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Good.
I do kind of wish more people were showing up for it. It used to be crazy. When Zach came, it was a crazy Zach party.
Really?
Yeah.
It was shoulder to shoulder in there, bonkers, undescribable. It was.
And you know what, Zach? It's cute because like the people that came in, they're like, "You can't close this place." It's like I can and I have to.
I wanted to do the
And,
first story. It's
You know, but
it's
it's because it looked like it was so vibrant and had a future.
It's like a
And
Lotus.
like basically
But
this
I'm not gonna finish today.
idea in this
This one
space
I'm not
is
doing,
used up. It's over.
Abstract, and I take.
There might be somebody else that can do
Like,
something
I
different
forget.
here, but this building and
I'll
our
probably finish next
presence,
week.
That's
we've
me.
built
That's I always
every
like two weeks.
You're
Wow.
always ahead of time
this
of
place.
like the object or of the theme. I'm like, if I do abstract, I can catch up.
Well,
but
good, and you did a great job doing it, man. You did, yeah.
Not this.
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty happy. I was
So
actually
grateful to be a part of it. Thank you.
explain that like based on what I hope to do in my entire life,
Yeah,
I've done
great job
1,000
with
times
that.
more in the last 12 years than I ever
What are you
dreamed.
gonna use it for?
just magic.
So
Casting
I'm not
spell.
praying to get hit by a mouse if I did.
It's okay. It's
I'm,
just.
I'm no longer concerned that I'm not going to leave the mark that I want to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
Surpassed that a long time ago.
maybe just like going on walks and stuff.
We can
What's
do
that?
it whenever, you know.
Oh, for my cape, I was like, I
Oh,
think
what
just
were
like
that on? What-
casting spells, going for
Okay,
walks.
I mixed a really deadly purple with these purple.
Rich, do you need purple?
Oh, let me see.
Yeah,
No. It's
yeah,
beautiful though.
yeah. I mixed with the blue and then what is that? Burgundy, because I did not have a purple.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
I'm gonna see if
beautiful.
anybody needs.
Yeah, totally.
Does anybody need purple? Do you guys work with acrylic?
Now, if I say that, then down in the highway,
Yeah, yeah, no.
everybody will
because,
talk
like,
about like he knew it was gonna happen, man. I had to do some video game driving today because there was a deer freshly tenderized in the middle of the highway, and then just as I got the car back under control, there was another one. And worse than that, there was this like the windscreen kind of blacked out at like 15 crows coming at the windshield all at once, and it was crazy. I was like, that was like a video game driving to work this morning.
Leaving it now.
Is that ACDC?
That's Gladys is coming, so I'm manipulating them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why it should be white around the edge? White too.
Well, I mean, the light's going down back here, so.
And then you're gonna put that black on top or the
Yeah.
dark blue on top.
Bro, that's too sick. I think I'm going to embrace my Illustrator, and I'm going to.
Why?
You're looking cool now, though. It's got some shot, a little bit of depth, eh?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you can use it.
First person that ever seen views of fan.
Well, I got a fucking call.
Using fan. They were designed for that exact purpose. I think I'm gonna walk back to my van and get my glasses. I forgot them there.
Where'd you park tonight?
1 block down.
Oh, store.
The last 2 times I've been here, I've been 1 block down.
Nice.
There's a spot there where people don't like parking, I think.
Yeah.
That's perfectly legal. 8:30. Go get my glasses so I can look at your work.
Blue. Sorry, got excited here.
What? Is it Prussian blue?
Prussian.
What do you say?
Prussian.
What did I say?
Yeah, I just like saying the word.
It is a nice word.
That's funny. I've always liked Prussian. And Prussian blue was created as an alternate for
Here's
the
Prussian.
very expensive ultramarine blue with the lapis.
I've never liked ultramarine blue, which is
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Oh, we wanted to thank you again for that box.
Oh yeah. It's. I was like, every time we look at it, I just like he's gonna put on his desk. At school.
I
Because the
have
kids
found,
at school
I
don't
have
know how
found
to pull.
another one, but was already modified.
Yeah.
I would like this one because I like this idea of square.
Is it I or E?
For the best to help.
I was like, yeah, for sure. And then sold out. That's what I double checked. Yeah.
The librarian gave me some like comic books that are like not safe for school,
That's awesome.
and I was like itemizing them, and I realized like the box is stuff that like I'll have to take apart, and but as I was dealing with the problem, I got all like randy boys looking at my comic books, going, "Mr. Teru," I'm like, "Those are not for you, and you should not be touching them." And
They went into your box.
yeah, and they were like, they
Hope
had
you
stacks
little-
of them that they wanted to keep. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? But at the same time, they're complaining that they didn't think it was appropriate. I'm like, you're not, like, you can't steal my stuff and then feel like you're,
That they're inappropriate.
because they were in the room because they needed to be like sorted out, and I brought them in a box, and was like, I don't know if I should be telling this story.
It's like number 3.
I can't defend this. I shouldn't have known better.
Because you're famous for always being so generous.
Yeah.
So every time you're having something, they think you can give it to them.
Yeah, right?
That's actually one of the most important things I heard all week. I'm going to cherish this moment for a long time.
It's true. I with you all the time since the day one I met you.
It's funny how different our opinions of ourselves are,
You know.
because I've heard that before, and I really appreciate it, but I forget, and I spend most of my time feeling like I'm letting people down.
Oh, that's you.
I'm working on having a better self-image.
If you're
Oh, in the back is perfect. Thank
if
you.
you're happy with yourself, then you'll be a happier person.
I look at my wife and I think I must be doing something right.
Yeah, but
it's you too.
She has her own happiness, but you have to find yours.
It's not so much happiness. It's more like it's more like what do we call this?
The compass, like
Yeah,
the
the
right trajectory or
Trajectory. Yeah, it's like, am I on the right spot? Am I
Right
on the right
path?
track?
the
Yeah.
right track.
Yeah, but
Is it kind
you
of like
have to know that.
But
self-contentment?
lots of people don't, right? Like, there's all kinds of challenges in the world that we struggle with. And,
Yeah, but if you do want to compare, maybe is you. I don't know. I don't like to compare. I just know where I'm at.
mhm,
Like as I work with myself,
mhm.
I know what makes me happy, what doesn't. So I just work with things that would make me happy. But
Yeah.
what makes me happy is actually very simple. Though. If I can do something for somebody, it makes me happy. Or if I find something that I don't use and I just having it sitting there, but I know somebody who can use it, then I can give it to that person and they can use
Well,
it.
you were equally generous, right?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I'm okay, I guess. I can.
And
pass.
maybe because you also have that, you can see it in others because you were, right? Like, I think that's.
Yeah, I guess that's what they say. It takes months to know. I've been told that before. Like, you're too generous. You have to keep it to yourself. Keep it for yourself. You don't need it. You don't need it.
The lowest I ever got in my life was the day after one of the best days of my life. I remember I was really like, it was actually right after the first Gorilla House event. I woke up the next morning and what I dreamt about for like, I think 20 years I was putting that idea together. And it came off without a hitch, so much better than I thought. And the video of it, the very first one. But I remember going into the gallery the next day, and it was just so broken and miserable. I couldn't believe, like, it happens quite a bit after people have art shows too. That when they take the show down, there's some depression that comes with it. And those are things I'm cognizant of. Because sometimes when things should be really great, you're still in all this pain. And that's what Jim Carrey talks about quite a bit. Is he had everything he wanted, and he still couldn't get out of bed because he was so incredibly miserable. And it's an ideal state to be in love with yourself and happy with yourself.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes when you're struggling and you think something's going to make your life better, and it doesn't, like there's so much depression at Christmas, and Christmas is supposed to be happy, but the pressure to be happy at Christmas. That's why we do the Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners, because during those holiday times is when people end up having the most depression.
Yeah.
And like that's what makes it depression versus having a bad day. If you're having a bad day and you feel bad, that means you're okay,
Yeah.
If you're having the best day of your life and you feel bad, that's a different problem.
I have a thinking about it.
I know, but sometimes like it's very confusing to try to define every little thing.
All of the feelings. And
Yeah. A lot of time is your own feeling mixed up with something else.
Mhm.
So it's usually when I feel stressed out, I just go to bed.
Right. That's a good, yeah,
I don't have to think.
a good feeling.
Yeah.
Way better than the calories. It was a little bit heavy.
How am I doing?
I kept telling you to turn it down. I was like, bro, I like it. Just turn it down a little bit. You got that ear piercing, like mind control. Fucking. I'm sure there's a little bit of that going on as well. The horizon's at the bottom. That's interesting. No, get out!
So how long can you like keep pumpkin until before it goes bad? Does anybody know about that?
I am not sure about that.
I just got that one the other day.
It does like I usually don't like by fall time. I usually pick pumpkins and I'm like, well, I have 6. I only need 1. So I usually like cook it straight away because it's fresh from the garden.
Yeah,
I never kept it. So
yeah, I'm not sure. We usually use them for art purposes. We will probably bring them into class and do drawing and lots of different.
Yeah.
is that everything?
You did pretty good.
Got the glasses, that was better for
Yeah, and we will.
Very good, very
We'll torch it.
beautiful.
I do 3 things.
you hear my funny joke? The elderly man. He's the same age as me.
Oh, I heard that. Oh, I laughed really hard at the kitchen.
Were you sad for me?
No, I didn't even. It was like, because I think of him so separate than you. Yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, and I knew who he was talking about. And then I didn't think. Same age as me, motherfucker.
Well, Darla was talking about how she just turned 60,
Oh wow.
and I was acknowledging that she looked young for 60.
Yeah.
And then she was talking about, like, I said, well, we're probably the same age. And she's like, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, how old are you? She goes, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 53. She's like, you're 53? No, I said, how about you guess we guess each other's age? And so I go, how old do you think I am? She goes, 40. I'm like, oh, I'll take that. But I'm 53. She's like, well, I'm 60. And I was like, well, would you rather look 40 and be 60? Or,
And then it goes to the picture. It's just,
you know, be
Or-
40 and look, yeah, would you rather look be 40 and look 60 or be 60 and look 40?
Yeah.
She's like, I think I would very much like to look 40 when I'm 60. Thank you. And, but the funny thing is I asked Sam to guess how old Darla was, because I thought, like, Sam, how old do you think Darla was? And she's like, oh yeah, ask the old boot in the back. And I was like, wait a second, like, we're the same age. But I don't know if Sam thought she was older than Darla as well. I don't know. But she could have, because they work in the office together. They would know their ages. I think once they never talk. And if Darla's online, I just want to say she looks great for 35. I'm realizing that on my place, 26 is like nothing to shake a stick at.
Good job. You're good. Yeah, you're doing good.
She'll be legal soon.
Exactly. Just keep going.
Practically not even born yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going backwards.
Yeah, backwards in time.
But you know what the basic character of an aspect is? Okay, not only is it like this, you get several steps close together, but its branches tend to lead down a bit. And the shape makes a whisper. It's called a whisper. You can hear it before you see it.
I love that.
Little photo album of the Rumble House.
Oh my god. That actually is so cute.
Ramble around the park.
Yeah.
Ladisher will be very excited about this painting. I need a glow in the dark blue.
Stat.
A little bit of toy. I never knew you could get glow in the dark paint, honestly. Until they showed this Mickey Mouse.
I thought it was the cheesiest thing in the world until Mickey came in.
Yeah,
And then he died. And then he came back to life. Now I'm working on my feelings again. That's actually the third time that's happened to me.
No.
Yeah, the first time was the custodian at my school had a son who had a car crash in the mountains, Rocky Mountains on the way to Vancouver. And he was in a coma. And we were all traumatized because it was the first work coma I had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And the family was Polish and pretty tight Polish community, I think, in that area of town.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the teachers was very proud to be Polish and spoke Polish. And so she came in and told us, like, well, this custodian's son had died. And we were all like grieving for him, like, oh, well, you know, pass the basket and work things out. And won't see him for a while. He showed up at work. And we're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, you know, what else am I going to do? So nobody really freaked out about that. And then somebody said, like, sorry about your son. And he's like, no, he's doing great. And we're like, what? And it's like, no, he's out of the coma and he's recovering, you know. And so we're like, what? And then so the question as to how that happened came up. Like, excuse me.
How do we misunderstand? So bad?
No, it was like, do you remember telling me that his son died? And so the teacher who was like telling the story, because that's why I didn't post a big like gruesome like we're gonna miss you, Enrique. It was because I've been through this before, and what had happened was the teacher who spoke Polish had gone to the hospital to see if everything was okay. And while she was there, the doctors, the father, the grandpa had said, he's in God's hands now, which she interpreted as he's in God's hands now.
Right.
And what they meant was they've done everything they can
And they have to wait.
wait and see. So I was pretty chill. Not thrilled, like happy, but like I really had to rewire my mind because. And I think I put about $75 into that. Not to say I didn't need it, but like.
No, that's just an offer.
I just wanted to. I was happy that he was okay.
Yeah.
But like.
No, it's just like.
Only once.
That's really painful.
Right.
I know. I guess I was kind of hanging on too because you asked, and then Kathleen asked. I was like, "Wait, what do you mean that it couldn't really be real? Like,
Did
why
I
would
say
it?"
that? I
You
do say things like that, like let's wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I let Elijah and Oliver know right away, and instantly regretted passing that on.
That's why I would never pass messages because people can misunderstand. That's how we made a mistake along the way.
Well, it's just that we kind of have an obligation here to keep people informed, right? Because there's a lot of people here that were connected to him through us, and they, like, even just when we lost the gallery the first time, there was a huge backlash against me.
See, when I'm not. No, when I'm not doing, what's that word again?
Abstract.
Abstract. I take my time. Yeah. But this is the first story talking about siblings. Like, I always believe kids and siblings are very pure at heart, and they're just like the flower from the water. And they came from the mud, and they came up to the surface from the top of water. Yeah. They sort of like that.
10 minutes. I'm gonna turn off this.
So long, farewell. It's time to say goodbye. Adieu, adieu.
Oh, Scott, have you been talking to Awesome. Nice seeing you guys.
Farewell. It's time to say goodbye.
We'll see you. We'll see you at 9 o'clock.